Yeah, thank you for the introduction. It is a true pleasure to be here. I'm based in Salzburg, which is not too far from Liechtenstein, so I think it's a real bummer that our team sadly couldn't make it to your event. But I hope in either event that it's very fruitful for all of you, and we very much hope to be a part of the second version whenever you decide to do it. I present Salzburg Research. We are a research technology organization based in Salzburg. We have experience with applied research projects and now with over 600 projects. And we are currently coordinating also a European digital innovation hub at the moment called Crowd in Motion. And the learning nugget that I would like to shortly present today has to do with smart tourism mobility analytics. And it will be about a feasibility study which we conducted with our service recipient to have a more data-based approach to incorporating new electric buses in an alpine tourist region. So without further ado, a little bit about our ADIH, situated as well in the Alpine region. We have a focus on the tourism, sports and well-being, and leisure and free time industries. Although we're open to other things, this is really where our main competence lies. And most of our service outputs have to date been in the Alpine region. However, we are also integrated on a more European level. In the past almost 3 years, we've conducted over 120 maturity assessments, and we have conducted a wide service of support to SMEs, mid-caps, and public administrations. And now we got the word that we will be prolonged for another 3 years. So we hope to keep these good vibes going in our next session. A little bit about our network. In our core consortium, we are also joined by a digital skills and training competence center. As well, we have a network of a few fab labs and maker spaces so people can prototype their digital products and services. And as well, we have competencies in funding and financing. This is with our innovation service network. We consider ourselves also quite well connected on the more European ecosystem. So we really try to leverage them whenever we can for our customers, ranging from the EEN to the Claire AI network in Brussels, along with, for example, our Y network of banks and financing partners. Our main focuses are mainly on the AI and IoT technologies, how public administrations and businesses can put this into their operations or in their products or services. And I would say we also are heavily focused on technologies. On the one hand, crowdfunding to employ a more local gamification approach to finding funds for our customers through normal citizens, but also on the other hand, crowd ideation, where we have two idea platforms. And with our service recipients, we try to find concrete solutions, further pose problems where people can submit their solutions and they get a list of them at the end. And one more thing I would say we heavily focus on are digital fabrication. We have many services in this area and many competencies, if this is something for you. Now, what I want to get into today is the meat and potatoes, and that is this learning nugget, which I briefly said in the beginning. And this has to do with Kufstein Mobil. A little background on them. They are actually situated between Salzburg and Liechtenstein in the Kufstein region. And Kufstein Mobil is a very small SME with only a few employees, and it was founded relatively recently. They consider themselves a regional competence center for the mobility transition, and they also try to influence or provide support for the neighboring regions and municipalities and how they can make this mobility transition. The general context that was surrounding this service output was, on the one hand, they had an accessibility challenge. Um, this region is quite still hard to reach without the use of private cars, so it could be better well connected with shared transport options. In some alpine regions, you have a high and low season, but here they consider themselves to be busy quite year-round. So this adds an additional layer of complexity and congestion issues. On the other hand, there's also an environmental aspect to it. There are many regional, national, and environmental sustainability goals, as you all know, that they need to adhere to. And as well, with the greater paradigm of sustainable consumerism and lifestyles of health, and sustainability, people are increasingly expecting more sustainable offerings when it comes to public transport. So this leads us to our main research question was how can we advise these regional municipalities in their mobility transition in this region for both the winter and summer seasons. It's also worth noting that we worked on this service also with eZieben, um, and they are an energy consulting agency based in Vienna, and they ran some cost-benefit analyses. A little bit about the solution now. It was actually a long time coming, with the whole duration lasting almost 1 year. That was from at in the beginning to really identify the problem that they wanted tackled, all the way to the presentation of results. And in between, there was a lot of co-creation processes with different layers of society. It was about data analysis and testing our assumptions of the data and trying to provide actionable solutions after everything was said and done. First, for our service recipient, we conducted a quite comprehensive market overview of the different bus models that could be considered as a replacement for their existing vehicle fleet. And we looked at different vehicles in terms of charging capacity, kilometer range, how many seats could it offer, and also what kinds of charging protocols are they adhering to in order to make the decision. After this long analysis, we chose to go with three different models, and they also represent three different, capacities, so to speak, to have a, variance in the different routes. A little detailed, but we built a consumption model, first of all, to estimate the maximum energy needs of the e-buses on these routes. And then we did special loggers with GNSS driving data, which were verified and aligned with the regional road graphs on OpenStreetMap. And also we tested these assumptions and fine-tuned them for more scenario-based evaluations. Along with eZieben, they conducted the economic feasibility assessment, and they really tried to look into the life cycle costs of the procurement of the vehicles in terms of what charging infrastructure would need to be foreseen and all of the investment, operation, and maintenance costs during its lifetime. We also, in the end, tried to bring it back to all of the stakeholders that were involved and present them the results. So we did this with the transport operators, the utility companies, and the vehicle manufacturers. a little bit about the results and impact from this service output. So in total, we analyzed 31 bus routes in both the winter and summer seasons. And first of all, we tried to see which of those routes could be operated with one charge per day only, and which would require more charging. And if so, how would this be foreseen? And then we had this market overview of the available e-buses. And then we had recommendations on how they can implement a charging strategy, in which locations we saw most suitable to have charging. Then we did this cost benefit analysis, and it actually demonstrated that the procurement of these e-buses um, would come to about even on cost within 7 to 17 years. So quite a large variance, but there were a lot of contextual factors that were considered. So this is why. And now, Kufstein Mobil is equipped with concrete data for their own route planning, what they need for energy to use these buses for, and really how they make their tenders now in their investment decisions. So they can really assess for themselves what is the best for their tourism customers in the region, what are high in demand routes, and how would they like to distribute these different e-bus types on each route. Looking forward, the tender was completed in the spring, and we will have the introduction of this new transport concept starting in the middle of next year, with a gradual transition period until 2028, until there is eventually the full electrification of the fleets. There was also a multifaceted impact, as you can also imagine. First of all, obviously environmental impact, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, supporting for example, the Austrian Mobility 2030 strategy. On the other hand, there were cost savings involved on a more long-term horizon. So this can result in a greater financial sustainability for the operators to procure these in the first place. And also operational, they can really see which routes should be adjusted, the frequency of the routes, the timing, and how they can improve the passenger experience. As well, there was a great social aspect because we involved stakeholders from across the chain. There was generally quite a lot of acceptance of the final product in the region. As well on a maybe more strategic level, this Kufstein region can brand itself also as ecological and boost its image with visitors and residents. This was only one of many learning nuggets that we've learned along the way within the course of our EDIH in the past 3 years. So if you are a little curious and you would like to really delve into some other practical examples of how we've served our customers, please visit this site, which I can also put in the chat later. And with that being said, I would invite you all to, yeah, stay on the move with our EDIH Crowd in Motion. If you are a SME, mid-cap organization, or public administration operating in these sectors and application areas, you most certainly do not have to walk alone, and we're here to help you with our comprehensive service offering. So please do not hesitate to get in touch. We will be funded for a further 3 years. So you have a lot of time, but we would really like to help you on your journey. So please let us know if there's anything that we can do for you. There is a contact form on the website. With that being said, I'd like to once again thank you all for your time and willingness to learn about this practical example of how we solved a quite local problem. And if you have any questions or would like to reach out, please don't hesitate to do so. So with that being said, thank you to you and to the organizers for this great session. And if you have any comments or questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Does anyone have a question that they would like to share?
Thank you, Michael, for your presentation. One question from my end around your continuation for the next 3 years. What will be your focus point for Crowd in Motion? What will you guys be specializing in? Hope you guys can hear me.
Moment. Sorry, I was muted. Thank you for your question. I could hear you perfectly. And yeah, thank you for being interested in our EDH. We will have a more greater focus on AI now. I have to say in the first 3 years, we were quite heavily involved with Internet of Things. But now we, just like all of the other EDIHs, probably digihub also included, we have this greater focus on really trying to help businesses and public administrations implement AI, whether in their processes or in their products or services that they offer. We will also have a few other consortium members on board. So, for example, we have more AI compliance competencies that we can offer our customers now. For example, compliance with the AI Act, etc. Also, maybe one other thing that we pivoted towards is the use of data spaces. So, at least in Austria, there's also been a greater tendency to now try to develop data spaces in the mobility and tourism area specifically. And we're working with Data Hub Tirol based in Innsbruck to help further this. So, how companies and public administrations can make use of this available data and make it work for them. So, I hope that answers your question. Thanks a lot. I see there's some more questions or no? Okay.
I think that was just summed up. So thank you very much.
Thank you
And
all.
yeah, thank you for your time.